Guilty on 2 counts and not guilty, acquitted on 3, including the most serious of charges. Ashley Banfield joins us now, my colleague and friend. Ashley, you have covered this extensively since the beginning. You know, it's been unfortunate that the public can't see what's going on inside the courtroom or hear what's going on because it's a federal case. However, you've talked to a lot of people who are very close to this case. Are you, one, surprised by the verdict, and two, how you expect the defense to try to get a lesser sentence for Diddy?
Yeah, I am. I'm as surprised at this as I was at Brian Koberger's plea deal, because I followed every letter of the law in the testimony and watching the exhibits, Marnie, and I checked every box. I just find it shocking that a jury couldn't put this together. But I'm sort of reminded of the long journey for women's sex rights, should I say, because in my lifetime, a wife couldn't be raped by her husband, right? And so I sort of look at this as though a jury saw girlfriends can't be sex trafficked. A jury saw that if you're willing one day or 1 month or 1 year, and you're unwilling in another day or another month or a year, that doesn't count. And so that's what's, I think, really troubling to me on this. And I think that no matter what, the government is certainly going to push for the maximum. I believe it's 10 years for the Mann Act federally for each count. And these are not the kinds of counts that you look at concurrently, right? Because these are different. They are different days. They are different victims. So these could be easily consecutive sentences, which would mean maximum 10 years each, which would mean a 20-year sentence. And in the federal system, you don't get as much time off for good behavior. You know, you serve a lot of your federal sentences. So if he gets the max for each and he gets 20 years because it's consecutive, he would probably have to serve, I'm going to ballpark here, like 18. But yeah, I'm really astounded at this, Marnie.
Right. And the prosecution's challenge to get a guilty verdict was connecting the dots that, okay, you could show the video, you could have the testimony from these victims on the stand that was horrific, but was a criminal act carried out? I mean, it was a stretch by many legal accounts to try to get a guilty verdict on the RICO charge. But you listened to the testimony and you talked to people close to the case. What was most compelling about what they shared bravely on the stand against their will for years?
I didn't think it was a stretch to get RICO at all. In fact, when I saw that question, Marnie, if somebody asks for drugs and then the defendant gives drugs, is that distribution? Yes. It is. I mean, it's just common sense, right?
Well, it's also because who's asking, right? Who's asking? I mean, it's Sean Diddy Combs. It's a celebrity. He's got power. He's got clout. He's got authority over you.
The idea here is that if the defendant is facing distribution of drugs, and that's one of the predicate acts under the RICO statute. I mean, yes, if you handed the drugs over, it doesn't matter if somebody asked, you handed them over, that's distribution. So when I saw that question, I thought, well, they're going to clearly be instructed. Here's the law. Yeah. And so it looked as though they had that predicate act checked, that they clearly knew that he handed the drugs over. They just wanted to know if somebody asked, did it mitigate that in some way? And the law that was given to them, told them, no, it doesn't mitigate it. Then they believed in the Mann Act. They believed in the prostitution and the illegal sex acts. What is just confounding to me is that they didn't see a kidnapping. There were 2 instances where there were other witnesses who corroborated. They didn't see bribery. There were multiple witnesses who talked about bribery. There were multiple witnesses from the Intercontinental Hotel who said, first he tried to bribe me, I said no. Then he went to my bosses and we said no. Then we went to the bosses again and we said yes, and there was a big bag of money. And there were multiple witnesses and a lot of testimony. There's 2 acts right there, Marnie. 2 acts satisfies RICO over the course of 10 years, and all you needed was an enterprise. And an enterprise didn't need to be a financial enterprise. It just needed to be a group of people who agreed. And there were 3 of Sean Diddy Combs' enterprise present, according to multiple witnesses: Sean, KK, and his bodyguard. I just don't understand how they didn't get to RICO. And I'm shocked at sex trafficking. I'm sad. I'm sad about the sex trafficking because those women were browbeaten into doing horrible things that they said they didn't want to do. They may have wanted to do it originally when the love bombing happened. They may have wanted to do it. That's fine. But when the love bombing didn't happen and they were forced into it, suddenly we're back to you can rape your wife. That's how I feel about the mentality of seeing whether you can sex traffic your girlfriend.